Project Dirt, Chapter 17. Welcome to Pyridus, as we call this base, and welcome to Dirt. Let us get you settled. Adam guided the guest through the hangar and toward the base. He hoped he was escorting them in the right direction, and he felt relieved when he saw the students waiting to help take care of the professors. They will show you to the rooms. We have a whole wing set aside for the students. You can say it's our academic wing. It has an office area and a few rooms. He is too shy. It's big enough to house a whole department and students. We have set you up in your own rooms and given you a temporary teacher's office. Mr. Jork has reprogrammed 2 mate droids to work as administration droids, and we are awaiting 10 science droids from Earth. Mina replied, and Adam simply smiled. Professor Jaco looked at Adam. Is this true? You didn't tell us about them. That's because they haven't arrived yet, and they are just meant to aid Vorts and the students in the cloning program as we seed the planet. He replied, not really thinking about it. What type of droids are we talking about? Is it the Garvins? Sharus, a human version, Galileo X-42. I'm not so familiar with the versions you use out here. The Galileo version? I have only heard of them. They are supposed to work independently at an M-Polo science station. I would love to inspect one of those. It's supposed to be able to work without any crew or host, up to 500 scientists to live comfortably. I must be allowed to return when they arrive. The professors seemed excited by the idea of studying the human science system. Adam just smiled as Kanita Sumina could not hold back. Then you're in luck, sir. This is an M-Polo science status with upgrades. I honestly don't think Mr. Wrangler knew what he ordered being built. The professors all looked at Adam, who shrugged. The colony base required material I couldn't access and would not really help with the terraforming. So, I built the one who seemed to be able to help me best. Besides, it would be able to function without people. Anyway, I'll let you settle in as I must deal with some administrative work. He apologized as he said his goodbye and walked away with Rox. Okay, get me updated. Let's go to the administration. They walked up, and Rox admired his choice of yacht and reminded him about their agreement. Adam laughed, and once they got to the administration, they went into a side office, and Rox called up the different reports. Okay, when I got here, they had already started to get their act in order, so I used that against them. You know, if you look guilty, you have to be guilty of something. And with a little pressure, they buckled. A list of projects came up, and Adam, who was sitting just leaned his head against his fist, looking at the list. Wow, they did all of that when I was away. Did they do anything I asked them to do? I asked the same thing, and these are the things they finished before. And here are the projects they had ignored. That's 26 projects ignored. For Vorts, one told him he could expect 5 years added to his contract for each project not finished before you returned. And for Jork, I simply reminded him that you had saved him and his son, and you have the possibility to sell you to the Thel University. He took the hint. So, for the last 15 days, they have worked with less than 4 hours of sleep per day, and they only have this one left. They were halfway through, and I had to put them to sleep. I don't know how important it is to make another base on the other side of the continent, but Rox made 50 droids and sent them over to start the project. He sent one of your construction droids to oversee the project. He has now made 50 droids per your construction droids to help them. Adam sat up, opened the project files, and smiled slightly. Well, I know why they didn't understand this before seeing the latest list. I guess that's my fault. Okay, I need to sit them down again. Just out of curiosity, why does he make the same type of droids as your Earth ones? Rox asked. My droids have a quantum processor and subatomic power generators. They look like androids, but are actually millions of nanodroids that reform into what is needed. One droid is worth a crew of 100 workers. It's how Earth managed to build so fast. I don't even know all their settings. I have seen them go swarm back home, build a house in 3 hours. Basically 3D printed it, and I'm afraid to give Jork full access to them. He would print God knows what. A good defense? Some cannons? Rox said hopefully, and Adam shook his head. No, they are not able to make anything more than some small arms weapons. But if he makes a full city before we have people or protection, then we have to redirect to many resources to maintenance. We have to keep a balance, and I fear he doesn't know how to do just that. Rox listened and thought about it. Yeah, you're right. So let's not reveal that before we have a big enough crew. By the way, your clan now has 60 members. What? How? You let them join? Adam looked at him, shocked. And Rox sighed. 2 nights with the farmers, and they are convinced you're some sort of divine god. Come again, please." Adam could not believe what he was hearing. Rogues sighed and called for the maid droid. "We need drinks for this." Adam just shook his head and checked their private projects as they waited for the bottle. Vodka and 2 glasses. Rogues poured 2 glasses and took a deep breath before downing the whole glass, then poured himself a second. Adam followed him. "Okay, what's this talk about God?" Adam asked. And Rogues just looked at the bottle and back at Adam. "You drink poison? Anyway, God, yeah. Well, there is this story about a God that brings change for the positive. He is supposed to do all these wonderful things, and according to some legend awaken and be surrounded by gods who have been put asleep. It's a whole big mess." Rogues drank more vodka, and Adam looked at him like a savior type. He sipped his glass. "That doesn't sound like me. Not so much a savior, more a bringer of a new way of life. He comes from chaos with new laws and new ways of living that will improve life in many different ways." Adam looked at him and burst out laughing, then stopped himself. "Are they really thinking I'm that?" Rogues nodded, and Adam started to laugh again, and Rogues joined in. It took them several minutes to stop, so they drank more and laughed more. After a while, they took the sobering pills and hangover pills and put on a straight face. Thought it took one look from a farmer as they entered the cafe to have them both buckling over laughing. Adam could not take that seriously. These guys had access to space and technology that would make them gods on many planets, and a rich idiot from Earth was who they decided to exalt to godhood. He decided to take the rest of the day to test out a speeder and check out the different projects around the planet. Every time he got a call from the base, he had to grin. At the evening, he had managed to calm himself down enough to not insult the farmers and return to the base. Vorts and Jork woke up when he was away and completely misunderstand Adam's request to inspect the planet and calm down to be Adam's anger towards them. So when he landed the speeder, he saw 2 humble men awaiting him. They looked like sad puppies, and Adam had to bite his lips to not laugh. So he took a deep breath to control his mind. "You decided to ignore my requests. You can be glad Rogues decided to deal with you and give you a chance to make up for your lack of trust in me. I would have allowed all of your project if you had done what I asked for, or given me good reasons for why you did not do them. You either tell me or you do them. Understand?" His voice was surprisingly soft, and both of them nodded. Adam then smiled. "So for me, this is water under the bridge. Don't let it happen again, and give me a list of the projects you want done." They both nodded again. "And York, no more droids, unless you get my approval first. How many do we have now? Besides those you bought, I have made 600 construction droids, 100 maid droids, 5 administrative droids, 5 medical droids, and I was beginning construction engineering droids. The maid droids are all multipurpose and are more service droids." He suddenly realized just how many he had built and swallowed. "You have made a small droid factory here, haven't you? On that hidden base you two made. What else is in there?" He looked between them, and they looked up slowly. "Only that and a mining operation to gain the materials needed." "The plan was to make an underground city, sir," Vorts replied. "Okay, then we do just that. And you sit down with Minna and get all of your droids patented. Once that is done, we can produce a few thousand of them to help with the coming process." "Oh, and that city you're building is going to be named Hades. But I want my city built at the same time." "Understood." They looked at him confused, then nodded. "Good. Then we are past this. Let's grab something to eat. I hope you have some of those blue pancakes." Adam smiled as he patted their shoulder and started to walk back. To his luck, he saw a fisher and didn't burst out laughing, which was good. He joined the crew for dinner and then invited the professors and students, plus Vorts, Hara, Jork, and Rogues, to the observation tower to relax over a few drinks and some calm music. Adam was quite happy with what they had done with the place as they enjoyed some calm music and polite conversation. It was clear that Professor Jaco and Jork were good friends and had several inside jokes. They ended up sitting by the window going over different projects. Rogues was sitting in the bar with Adam and watched the whole group. Vorts and the rest of the students were discussing which animals they should start with to introduce first. Rogues looked at Adam. "What are you smiling about?" Adam held a pint in his hands with a big smile. "Rain, Dot." Hara looked at him. as she was sitting in the bar with them. Rain? What do you mean? Adam just grinned and sipped his pint as the windows started to get wet and all conversation stopped. Rain had come to Dirt.